The PJ Fleck Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union.
Our how is everything. How you do something matters. Culture, how, next on mentality. That better be first.
The PJ Fleck Show starts now.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the PJ Fleck Show. Joined as always by the head coach of Gopher football, PJ Fleck, alongside Gophers Hall of Famer Ron Johnson, KFAN's Justin Gaard. I'm Pierre Noujaim. For the second straight week, the Gophers find the win column in a dominant 66-0 victory over Northwestern State. PJ, it was a game that was cut a little bit short early because of weather, but you guys managed to execute from beginning to end. What did you like most about your team's performance?
I really liked our response from the Buffalo game. There were so many things that we had to clean up. We talked to our players about starting fast, accelerate middle, finish strong, and really attack on the defensive side of the ball, and I thought we did that. I mean, we start the game with a pick six with John Nestor, and then from there it was just a snowball effect. I just loved how we swarmed to the football. I thought the guys treated this game like any Big Ten rivalry game, and that's where I took the most joy, was watching our players prepare. When you're a huge favorite like that, you have no idea how young people are either going to listen to you as like Charlie Brown's teacher, like wah, 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 or they're actually going to listen to you, that we got to go out, no matter who it is, and play our best football game. And I thought they went out there, executed what we needed to do, and really just kind of took advantage of that game very quickly and put it out of hand very early.
Yeah, and Danny Collins' Havoc defense started out fast, and you brought up the Nestor interception. When you are teaching, or when he's teaching these guys this, trust your eyes, trust what I call, just do what we say, I promise you it'll work. When you see it actually happen and come to fruition, what, as a head coach, I know you're a leader of men, but how does that feel like for you guys?
Well, it just shows you're on the right track with the football team, and what you expect out of them is what you should be expecting out of them. And there's required work, as we all know. The NCAA puts limits on what we can do for our players and where we can actually do so many hours of work with them. It's the unrequired work that's really, really special. And I think that's where our guys thrive. They take the game plan, they do in the practice and the meetings and all the things we do with them, but they do so many other hours in unrequired work on their own. And I think that's the buy into the game plan. This is a very mature football team. There's a lot of young players out of there, but they all love to play football. I mean, look at that joy. It's not just the pick six. They all literally want everybody to do really well. And that's that multiplying effect. If you can have a team full of multipliers and you can have people who really don't care who gets the credit, they truly want the success of other people, I think that's what this football team has more than all the other teams that I've coached here at Minnesota. What the end result will be, we're going to find out in 13 weeks. But other than that, I love coaching this team because of how hard they work, how hard they prepare, and how much they're committed to the process.
You've talked a lot about elevating the floor. Explain what that is a little bit when it comes to all the different guys that got to play on Saturday.
Yeah, it's not a negative saying. It's just you have a ceiling, the top player in your program, and you have the bottom player in your program, meaning maybe the most underdeveloped player. You've got to bring that depth up. And that's what the floor means. So we played 76 players. We had 9 guys score a touchdown. We had 10 different people carry the football. And then we had 9 guys catch a pass. And we still had 7 more minutes to play with 15 more players that hadn't played going into the game in that last 7 minutes of the game. So that's what I mean about this team being a true team, where they're really, really connected. They want that joy for each other. They work so selflessly that you hope to have these types of results, that we needed to play for true 60 minutes. Now, we only played for 53 and a half, but we needed 60 minutes of football where we could dominate and allow those other guys to get in the game, to have that true game experience. Nothing trumps game experience. Nothing's more valuable than game experience. So if you can get them in there and get them that game experience earlier in their career, the better they're going to be in the developmental program.
You mentioned it after the game that injuries are unfortunately part of the game. They're always going to be part of the game. Darius Taylor, Jalen Logan Redding, they both left the game. They did not return. Do we have an update on either of those players? And if they are unable to play on Saturday, who's the next in line in those positions that need to step up for your team?
Yeah, our medical team will always make those decisions for us, so that takes the weight off of me. We got some really good news on both of them, but the medical team will actually decide whether they play or not. So 2 hours before kickoff is when we put that out. But other than that, you've got, there's so many guys that got carries. I mean, you saw Cam out there, and you saw AJ out there, Feme. Feme's been one of the better running backs we've had. That's really elevated his game over the last few years. It's just unfortunate when players get hurt. Last night, Blake Cashman goes down, right? But the guy that comes in and replaces him has a phenomenal football game. This is a team. It's not if people are going to get hurt, it's when. And it's a violent game. Unfortunately, these things happen, but you have to be deep. We're deep in a lot of positions, and I think you saw that last week where so many other guys had opportunities to carry the ball and did really, really well. So if Darius isn't able to go, then we'll have plenty of running backs to give the football to, just like any other player on our football team. If they're not able to go, it's up to us to create that depth.
PJ's talking about Eric Wilson, by the way. Just in case you didn't catch that Vikings game last night, who stepped in for Blake Cashman.
He played so well.
Yeah.
Eric got in there and played so well.
And you kind of answered the next question, which is how deep is this running back room? But I'll go a step further. You said you were up watching the game last night. I know your players probably watched it as well. How do you teach them that next man up mentality? Because you do have a deep running back room. So how do they kind of like flip of a switch? He's out, you got to be in, and you got to be able to do what Eric Wilson did.
Well, I think it's really just the way we practice. It's not just Darius gets all the reps. I mean, we're rotating our backs in constantly. And then when you have a game where you can play, even Buffalo playing multiple backs. And now you have an opportunity. I mean, our leading rusher was from a true freshman. I'm not saying that he's going to be the leading rusher for us at Cal, but if we get to Grant Washington, he's already had his first 100-yard game of what that feels like. Femi, I thought, had a phenomenal football game. He's a powerful, violent runner with a lot of twitch. And then you watch Cam and AJ. Cam was a starting tailback at Washington for a lot of years. AJ was the leading rusher in the country in terms of yards per carry last year at Marshall. These guys have played a ton of football. So that's what we went after in the portal. We knew we were going to have to create the depth, elevate Femi, bring in some freshmen that we could give experience to early, and now they have an opportunity to go play.
I saw a quote from, I think, Drake's mom that said Drake and Max Shikanjansky are basically like brothers. And they must be, because Drake played.
That was her quote? That was Amy's quote?
Yes. Drake played so well that he got his brother in the second quarter, right? 8 of 9. I think he played 20 snaps. I know you've got the card, but just kind of take us through Drake just managing, his basically quarter and a half that he got to play the other day.
Yeah, I think the one thing I love about this team, and Drake's kind of the head of the snake of this, is that the preparation is critical. And we prepared like this was a conference game. These guys did not take anybody lightly. It wasn't about the opponent this week. It was about us playing our best football, executing at a really high level, because we felt like in week 1, probably left 21 points on the board, maybe 14. The last one we might not have scored anyway because we were in 4 minutes and let the clock run out. But there's definitely 14 more points to be out there that we didn't go capture. And so I think we left a lot to be desired into the next week, and there was a lot more meat left on the bone, and I thought our guys really attacked the week. They were very businesslike. There was no exhaling. There was no relaxing, and that's a sign of a really good football team. And as coaches, I was told a long time ago, Joe Novak, my college coach, always used to tell me, these types of games are coaches' games.
Yeah.
Buffalo, Northwestern State, they're coaches' games, right? We look back, at Western Michigan, we lost to Nicholls State. Right? Wasn't a good experience. We lost to Bowling Green here when we were 30-point favorites. Not a good experience. I failed our team in those games. Anybody can get hyped up for the Wisconsin-Minnesota game. Iowa, Minnesota. You're going out to an ACC team late at night, playing on the West Coast against ACC Cal, a really traditional football program. Everybody can get hyped up for those games. But these are coaches' games, and these are the ones coaches worry about the most, because you hope you prepared your team well enough that they take everybody seriously, and they did, and this was all due respect to Northwestern State.
Guardsy brought up Mike Shikanjansky, and I'm still working on the pronunciation of that name.
Schick. Just call him Schick.
Schick.
Because if you say Max here, everybody thinks Bros.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you got to go Schick.
Schick works.
Just make sure when you call him Schick, you say it really slowly, all right? Just make sure. But he got extended run here in that game against Northwestern State. How do you look, and how joyful was it for you to see him out there doing his thing?
Well, I'm so proud of him because he went out and earned that number 2 quarterback job. Nothing was handed to him. He had to go earn that, and he went out there and took it. The one thing about him is everybody loves him as a person. He's a selfless teammate. He's a connector, but he's a competitor. Whether that's basketball, whether that's football, he's a former walk-on, then earned a scholarship. I mean, there was one point in our bowl game, we're going to go play Bowling Green if they're in Detroit. And we don't have a quarterback. Max is a true freshman. He's the only guy we have. That was Cole Kramer, the little Cole or die thing that we had. And we rallied around Cole Kramer, still won the bowl game. I think we only threw it like 6 times. Would not have been a Ron Johnson game. Ron wouldn't have blocked for anybody.
Yeah.
He would have been so mad that game.
I like a good pancake now.
He also wouldn't have left in the second quarter. He would have wanted more stats.
He would have walked in before halftime by himself, But Schick is the ultimate connector. That he's got such a great personality. He's been through a lot of adversity. He lost his mom last year. The team has just always rallied around Max, and it's been fun to watch him really kind of take that number 2 role and elevate his game into being able to go in there and play really high quality football.
Yeah, and this defense is really good. I mean, you look at Devin Eastern, Joey Gerlach, you know Baranowski. You got Smith, who is, I mean, he's the off the bus first type of guy in my opinion.
Always.
When you see him, like he just looks scary. Like he looks like the guy you want to go into a fight in the alley with. But Coy Parrish has taken a lot of the headlines early in the fall, and now it's kind of looking like the rest of this defense is starting to be seen now. How good can they be as a group?
I think you bring up a point that's, we brought up with our team on Sunday. We showed them this whole statistics of, you remember George Karlaftis, right?
Yeah.
And played at Purdue,
yeah.
right? We showed him his freshman stats. Mm-hmm. And when he got to his last 2 years, they weren't as good as his freshman stats because everybody in the Big Ten Conference knew who George Karlaftis was. Right. And were you just going to put the back on George Karlaftis? No, you're going to chip him, you're going to double team him, you're going to take the tight end. His production stat-wise was down, but he created the whole game plan to be around him.
Right.
And we went from draft pick to draft pick to draft pick and showed players their freshman year having their best years. But statistically, when you looked at their next few, they were the person that we're not going to throw to Coy Parrish's side. We're not going to throw to Justin Wally's side. The stats might go down. Stats are for losers. Like, who cares about the stats? We don't care about the stats. Let's create a defense that loves winning. And if one person has 2 interceptions one game, let's be really joyful for that person. If no balls get thrown my way, it's probably because you're a pretty darn good football player and you've already made a name for yourself, and they're not going to allow you to beat them. So I think this team understands that we can be a really good team if we're really selfless, and we don't really care about our stats or why am I getting double teamed? Why am I not producing maybe like I have in the past? It's going to open so many team avenues that so many other guys are going to be able to make plays, and we're going to be a better defense if we don't worry about all that stuff.
All right, more to come here on the PJ Fleck Show. Yeah, great question, Ron. Great question. When we come back, we'll be joined by Minnesota's own Jaxon Howard, a key member of that defense. You don't want to miss that conversation. Coming up next here on the PJ Fleck Show.
You're watching the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back into the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Joined now by a man that a lot of you here in Minnesota might recognize, defensive lineman Jaxon Howard, joining us now here on the show. Jaxon, we appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for joining us here on the PJ Fleck Show. Let's get started with how this defense has looked so far this season. You're a key piece of this defense. 10 points allowed through 2 games is pretty darn good. What has allowed you guys to get off to such a great start the way you have?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be on the show. And to answer your question, I think the biggest thing comes from, once we started with Coach Collins, the first thing that was instilled to us was the Havoc defense. And, from there, we have a new defensive coordinator. We don't really know too much about what he's about other than the fact that every time he's been able to come to the plate, he's been able to just ball out from a coaching perspective at all times. But I believe that our defensive DNA is what's been able to carry us these 2 games, and I think it's going to be able to carry us even further throughout this season.
And your dad, I told you this. I texted your dad last night because I wanted to get some intel. And then I told him, man, I'm not going to embarrass you on TV. So what I want to know is, you it could be fun, but I'm not going to do that. You picked Minnesota. You could have picked a lot of schools. You picked Minnesota to come back home. When you made that decision, did you know it would end up being, free football camps, giving back to the community, being able to see your friends and family, getting a chance to play in a big-time program? Like, how has all of that come together for you?
Oh, yeah. I think just the fact that coming back here, knowing how many opportunities are at the University of Minnesota, not just football-wise for you. Just speaking about football-wise, you want to get to the league, this is a great spot to get to the league. And just thinking about things that I could do off the field that are able to not only build my repertoire as far as just people are able to know about me and what I like to do, but it's just been able to, I think, slowly start reflecting on not only, what we do as a program, but also things that I've been able to learn throughout this program.
PJ, when you got the news that Jaxon was going to be a member of your football team, and now that he's here, what's it been like having him and watching him grow as a player and a person?
Well, good things are worth it. The best things are the things you have to wait for. And originally out of high school, I went to LSU, but this is a great example of building great relationships and deep relationships that if it doesn't work out at that school, you can get them back on the boomerang. And for him to come back to the University of Minnesota, we're really grateful to have him. He's one of the best people you'll ever meet, a very selfless player, and he's relentless. And he fit right in with our team and our culture. We already knew that. It wasn't never like he was a transfer. It was like he was right here out of high school because he fits everything that we're about. His dad does the same thing. I remember going in the first time I got a chance to actually see his dad, and we were recruiting, I think it was his freshman or sophomore year. And his dad's in there, and his dad's got a fryer in his office, and he's the AD, I think, at the time. He's got the fryer, he's got the air fryer, he's got all this food. I'm like, who are you cooking all this food for? He's like, my son. He comes in here, pops in here, and gets a snack in between stuff. And I'm like, a snack? These are full meals. And then as we got to see Jaxon continue to grow, I mean, he obviously became a pretty large human being. So it's all because of his dad's cooking in his office. And I'm like, this is legal? Like, you can cook in your office? He's like, well, yeah, but I do it for the other kids too. So it was, but his dad even cooks for our team now. So very grateful to have his whole family, including his mom and the whole family, a part of the Gopher family.
And speaking of family, your dad told me you're going to have close to 100 family members out in Cal. Your dad went to Stanford. You got family out in that area. When you get on that field, you see all those Howard jerseys in the Cal stands. Like, how is that going to feel for you?
I think the biggest thing is just, I get to see family I haven't seen in years. I get to see some family I've never met before.
Oh, wow.
And just the fact that I get to represent my name on the back of my jersey and I get to represent Minnesota on the front, it's just going to be able to speak a lot for me this Saturday, for sure.
Do you spend a lot of time with the swag, though? Because I see the Instagram stuff that the Gophers social team puts out there. By the way, Gophers, if you're looking for a model to put the uniform on before every game, let me know. But
please,
when you think about that, like, do you spend much time, or do you just kind of say, because I see you got you got some swag stuff on. Like, you're a swaggy guy with the number 1 on. So do you spend a little bit of time, like, are you thinking about that? Like, here's what I'm going to look like.
Sometimes swag-wise, I kind of I'll dress a little bit like players that I like.
Okay.
And so a player that I've been watching a lot is Jonathan Grenard for the Vikings.
Yeah.
And, he wears the arm sleeves, the leg sleeves, and, when I try to model my game as far as playing-wise, looks-wise a little bit as well, but, I'm not going to put on too many sleeves when it's hot outside. So, I keep it down to
The cold's coming. Don't worry.
Jaxon, I know you're going to be excited, like you mentioned, to see family members in the stands, but when the ball goes up in the air, what are you expecting out of Cal this weekend and the challenge they pose for your football team?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's what day is it today?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. We're already down through our first and second down. I believe defense already finished third down as well. Cal has an amazing offense, and they're going to be able to run the ball and throw the ball. They have a really good quarterback, solid offensive line, and so we're going to do our things and our due diligence as far as watching film and finding out tendencies to be able to find out any ways that we can, pick them apart defensively or from our defensive perspective, and just do our due diligence and play some ball.
And PJ, he mentioned the NFL, and I know that's every kid's dream to get to the NFL. And honestly, like I told your dad this, when you picked Minnesota, I knew that was the right spot for you over LSU. I know everybody can't say that, but I can. And so, PJ, when you see Brevin Spann-Ford back now, every week I'm back, I see another guy back, and they're talking about Tyler Johnson, talking about that opportunity to get to the NFL and how many guys are making it. Like, does that give you a little bit of a smile, too, to see those guys back and hanging around
guys?
Yeah,
listen, coaches are rented. They're rented for a short amount of time, right? And we talked about that before. Your job is to take players from where they are in high school and then listen to their dreams and say, okay, well, if you want that, we'll put together a blueprint. You got to be the builder, but we'll put together a blueprint. And most of the players that we talk to want to play in the National Football League. And to watch all these guys accomplish that, not only just get there, we have 24 guys active in the National Football League right now on rosters. To come back week in, week out, there's somebody else that's there. Even guys who don't play in the NFL. I mean, Preston Jellin, he's going to be an orthopedic surgeon. He's going to replace my shoulders and my hips one day. And he was back. They all come back.
Yeah.
That shows that the culture is really healthy and that guys want to be around each other. They want to be around the newer guys. They want to be around the players. They want to be around the culture. They want to be around the coaches. And in the world of the NIL and portal and groups versus teams, 80% of our team is a developmental high school program. And to have all these guys back that want to come back as Gophers makes you really proud as a coach because you pour a lot of your life into these young people to get to where they are, to where they want to be.
Well, Jaxon, we certainly appreciate you taking the time. Tell your dad, by the way, he's more than welcome to cook for us here on the PJ Fleck Show. Anytime he wants to come back here, anytime, he's welcome here anytime. We appreciate you taking the time, Jaxon.
Sir. Thank you.
Thanks so much. When we come back, we'll talk a little more about this weekend's matchup as Minnesota travels to take on Cal. We'll discuss that. Get a little deeper into this matchup when we return.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the PJ Fleck Show. Time now to take a deeper dive into this weekend's matchup as Minnesota travels to take on Cal and PJ. There's been so much talk specifically about their quarterback. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. You know, I am going to give it a shot. Segapulatele. How about that? Is that good?
Yeah.
Did I nail that one? He's been very impressive. The numbers look great. What makes this young man so dangerous?
He's so accurate. He's mature for a freshman. You would not believe this kid is a true freshman. He's very accurate. He's tough. He can run it. He's got a really good vision of the entire field. He's got really good pass receivers to throw to. They're dynamic in a lot of areas. The O-line really works hard for him. This kid is dynamic. I mean, they're going to be talking about this kid for the next 3 years on a national quarterback level. They've already started, and he's only played 2 games. But we've got our work cut out for us. He's going to challenge us in every way.
And 2 receivers, really good, Griselda and Hamper.
Yep.
When you look at Nestor, Parrish, the rest of those DBs, what is the defensive coach kind of telling those guys?
I mean, they'll put 5 wideouts on the field at one time. It's a perfect offense for you, Ron. They'll put 5 wideouts on the field at one time. So they're going to test us in our coverage. They're going to test us in our fundamentals and technique, and they can produce at a really high level. It's an explosive offense. It's meant to be explosive. Brian Harsin is the offensive coordinator, used to be the head coach at Boise State. He's a really good offensive mind, and you can just see the whole offensive staff's new, besides the tight end coach, and you put those guys together, and you can see the imprint they're having on the offense that they have this year. And they're talking about the same thing we talked about after game 1. We left a lot of points on the board. Once they clean some stuff up, which I'm sure they will prior to our game, I mean, they're going to expect to score a lot of points, and they should, because they're explosive in a lot of areas.
We only have about 30 seconds, and I know the plan is much more exhaustive than 30 seconds allows, but it's Big Ten and ACC after dark on the West Coast, going out west, time difference, night game. Is practice different this week? Is the routine different? How do you approach it?
Yeah, the routine's very different. We got a bye week the following week. Every time we've gone out to the West Coast, we've manipulated and moved a little bit of our schedule to fit what they call the green zone, the optimal playing time on your body, because it's going to be 9:30 Central Time that we kick off. So our players have to be at their best from 9:30 to 1 a.m. Central Time. So we've done some things to adapt our schedule to fit that.
We certainly can't wait to see how it all unfolds as the Gophers hit the road for the very first time this season. Minnesota looking to remain perfect on the young season. Coach, thanks as always for the time. We appreciate you having us on the PJ Fleck Show. Don't forget, everybody, to tune into the Gopher pregame show this Saturday morning. Yes, don't you worry. We'll be up bright and early. Only 12 hours until kickoff when we kick off.
7 a.m. Pacific, baby.
Justin Gaard will be live out there.
Live from Berkeley.
That's a lot of content right there. You got to have a lot of content.
You don't want to, who knows? Maybe if PJ's around, maybe we'll have him on before. He's got a lot of time until he kicks off. You never know. You never know who's going to show up on the Gopher pregame show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week for more of the PJ Fleck Show.
Having a 5-mile run.